Hello, welcome to Blockchain in the Metaverse. I'm your host, Futurist Amelia Kallman. Whether we call them NFTs, digital products, collectibles, or virtual trading cards, blockchain technology is enabling the future of ownership, design, and revenue in Web3 and the Metaverse. We're already starting to see new financial models emerge. Recently, Nike have launched Swoosh, a Web3 platform where people can co-create digital products, aka NFTs, with the brand, including things like sneakers, apparel, accessories, and other collectibles that people can buy, sell, and wear in games. Previous to launching, Nike are said to have made over 183 million in NFTs, plus another 90 million in royalties. The secondary marketplace for Nike products, aka used NFTs, if you will, is said to be worth 1.3 billion. Social metaverse platform InView have recently launched NFT wearables onto their platform, where nearly 1 million global gamers from non-crypto backgrounds are using VCOIN tokens to purchase NFTs in-game. To tell us more about the impact of NFTs and how they are shaping the future of Web3 in the Metaverse, I am thrilled to be joined by Nischal Belthan, Senior Director of Crypto Products at MetaJuice. Welcome, Nischal. Thank you so much for joining me here today.
Hey, nice to be with you, Amelia.
So to begin, do you mind telling us a bit about yourself and your background and how you got involved in blockchain?
Yeah, absolutely. So I got involved in blockchain when I was working at a SaaS company, and I was heading up a team there where we are setting up all these international payments for our customers. So our customers used to send money into, 80, 100 countries around the world. We had Airbnb as a client as well, and they had to pay hosts around the world. So as we were setting up those integrations, these were all working through banks, through archaic, 60s, 70s technology. And it would sometimes take days to get the money to all these countries. And you never knew where the payment was, when it was actually going to get delivered, and what the status was. So when we saw how complicated these things are and all these different payment systems around the world that you got to build these integrations for, you realize how antiquated our payments technology is. And even within the US and Canada, it's no different. We got ACH and some of these payment technologies are super old. So that's when I got invested in crypto around the 2016, 17 timeframe, started looking into Bitcoin because the promise of crypto was that, it was going to make payments around the world very easy. It was going to help the unbanked. There's people around the world that don't even have a bank account who could get access to financial services. And around that time, there was an opportunity in 2018 to come work for this company called Ripple Labs, which was primarily focused on this problem: is how do you make it easy and cheap to send money around the world? How can you get a payment around the world in seconds or minutes at most, for a fraction of what it costs now? So I had the opportunity there to build up a team of technical services and support engineers. And I was there for about 3 years, grew that team to about 20 people or so. And our goal there was to help all of Ripple's customers to basically seamlessly move money around the world in a matter of minutes for a fraction of a penny. So while I was at Ripple Labs, I really got interested in the other use case of crypto as well. That was obviously one real world use case of crypto. But there was other use cases, obviously, with NFTs. And I started exploring that space while at Ripple Labs. I got big into DeFi summer in 2020 when Uniswap and some of these other protocols launched. That was one of the early promises of, hey, we can revolutionize finance. And then came NFTs. So around that time in 2021, I had the opportunity to work for this company called Unstoppable Domains that was building these domain names on crypto networks. So it was a super interesting concept, something that was very new. Obviously, all of us have felt the pain when we've tried to send crypto to one another. You get one digit wrong, it goes to an address, it's never recoverable. There's no bank to reverse the transaction. So Unstoppable Domains was trying to solve that problem and trying to see how you could send money easily. It could be something like Amelia or crypto, and you never had to remember what was behind that. And you could configure however many addresses you wanted. So I was setting up this a team there where we would integrate with exchanges, with wallets, and all these other crypto providers so as to easily integrate crypto names into their product. around that time, I got this opportunity to come over to MetaJuice, and Together Labs has these metaverses in view and with me that have been around for quite a while, and they were trying to integrate crypto and NFTs there and actually make these products usable in the metaverse. So I've always been interested in that use case of crypto applications and using this for improving lives and changing things for the better, having real world use cases. And I thought this would be a great application for that. It was around the same time that Decentraland, Sandbox, and all of these other metaverses were also taking off, and there was they were doing all these land sales, NFTs. I think that this was going to be a great opportunity for me as well to come and kind of build out the product over here.
Yeah. Wow, your career is on the cutting edge of so many innovations. It's really fascinating. So, as the senior director of crypto product, that is a job title that probably didn't exist 10 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago,
Yeah.
So what exactly does that mean? And what are your core responsibilities?
So I'm responsible here mainly for everything related to our crypto tokens. So that's VCOIN and VCORE. So I own the tokens here from a product standpoint. So that involves everything working with our MetaJuice engineers, as well as working with engineers from the core company, InView and with me, and integrating the crypto into the metaverse. So that's the first part. And then the second part is launching the NFTs on the platform, how those NFTs are going to work, what blockchain they're going to be on, as well as the strategy around what happens when someone wants to take it into another metaverse, they want to take self-custody of it. We've been involved in launching the NFT marketplace on InView. For most of this year, we just launched a couple of months back, and it's been a great success. But all the things around that, how do we strategize? How do we build a strategy? What are the fee structure going to look like? What should royalties look like? Everything from the smart contract level, how do we set it up on the smart contract, as well as working with our executives on making this a commercially viable endeavor and ensuring that all the fees are set up correctly. And then we have a way in which all these different technologies can work together as well. So my team is responsible for all of those initiatives here at Together Labs.
Wow, you sound busy. And I also love that how you're looking ahead, and it must be really interesting to kind of strategize over the next 5 to 10 years, which I want to ask you about in a minute. But I just want to ask you, I know that InView have recently launched their NFT marketplace and wondered if you can kind of give us an update on that, how it's going, how has it changed things, what's the adoption been like?
Yeah, so we launched our much awaited NFT marketplace a couple of months back, and we are still at very early stages. We are in like the mile one of the marathon, so we still have a long ways to go. But the initial reception has been phenomenal. It's been a great success. A couple of months back, our first launch was just very limited, 78 NFTs that we launched. These were one-of-ones that users could get their hands on, just one-of-ones, and they'll never exist again. Only 78 of those will be ever minted. And then last month we started one of N. So these are like one of 1,000 or one of 100. It's limited quantities. It's not a lot, but we just launched those. We are doing another drop this week as well, but we're doing these weekly drops, and those again have been a phenomenal success. So we have a few thousand NFTs so far that we've launched. We have a few thousand more to go. But I anticipate earlier next year we'll have tens of thousands of NFTs.
Wow.
And then we've already had a ton of secondary trades. And these are, again, very non-speculative NFT trades. These are people actually using these NFTs in the metaverse. I remember with our first drop of the first 78 NFTs, there was actually someone within minutes who actually wore that NFT and took it into a room, and he was showing it off to other people, and other folks there were curious how he got it. And all the chatter in the room was about NFTs. So that's the kind of traction it's had. As it's a very aspirational product within our metaverse, and everyone wants to get their hands on it. We're working very hard towards what we call is phase three. Phase three NFTs are when our creators will be able to create NFTs. That's kind of the big goal, because the entire premise of NFTs is about empowering the creators and giving them control over their product. So we want to launch a product next year where within the studio product, where creators create their regular digital items, they can create NFTs as well. And that's where we want this to really take off, as there'll be hopefully hundreds of thousands, if not millions of NFTs out there in the store. and our entire user base will have access to massive NFT collections as well.
To me, that area is so fascinating and disruptive. So I mentioned in the introduction how Nike is doing something with
Yep.
Swoosh where they're co-creating. And it sounds to me like you guys are looking to do sort of the same thing. And, not only is this a new revenue stream, this is a revenue stream across boards for creators as well as
Correct. Yep.
the platforms. Wondering if you can touch on a bit more about this idea around royalties or like a residual market, what exactly that means and what that could mean for the metaverse, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. So to your point, you mentioned Nike. I believe last week there was this news clip that came out that OpenSea, I believe this year has paid well over $1 billion in just creator royalties. That's more than all of the other Web2 content provider, platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and some of these others combined. So that's kind of the power of Web3 is where creators can create their own product and directly reach a consumer if they have a passionate community. They don't need to go through a middleman for rent taker, right? Someone like a YouTube who takes half of their revenue away. They have the power of their own creation. At the same time, you're not locked into just one platform. So I'm a big proponent of interoperability. The fact that you can take your NFTs to other platforms as well. And then in the future of the metaverse is going to be the same. The open metaverse is where any NFT or any digital item you create in one metaverse could easily be ported into another metaverse, not necessarily locked into one metaverse. So with royalties, the goal again on our platform as well, we've ensured that even if that NFT is taken to another platform, you can still earn your royalties on the other platform as well.
All right.
Right now, you cannot do that with Web2. If you have a YouTube video, it's not like you can put it on TikTok and you're going to get revenue there. Again, you're whether you're allowed to sell on the platform or you depermission, all of that is controlled by a centralized platform like YouTube and TikTok, and you have no idea what happens behind the scenes. So those are the type of barriers that Web3 is going to remove, and it's going to allow creators to actually own their creations, and through every sale, they'll get royalties through that. So our marketplace is set up the same way. Once we launch with our phase 3, where creators create their own NFTs, we will pay out royalties to all our creators. And we have this thing called as a derivation chain. So someone can actually build the digital items, and then someone else can take that and then build on top of it and make it better. So we are also going to pay everyone along the derivation chain. So if someone had a hand in creating that item and the item sells, even if it sells 5 years from now or it sells 10 years from now, everyone on that derivation chain, everyone that had a hand in creating that NFT will always get paid. And we're paying all of that in VCOIN. So they get that VCOIN directly into their wallets if they want it. They can obviously convert it into cash, or they can use that within any of our metaverses.
And I know on the marketplace as it stands, there's still non-collectibles for sale. Do you see
Mm-hmm.
everything kind of moving in the direction of everything eventually becoming collectibles and blockchain validated products? Or do you think there's still going to be use cases for both?
I think, at least in the near term, there's going to be use cases for both. Our native audience is not very Web3 savvy. So most of our user base is not Web3 savvy. It's the rest of the world as well, right? You look at it, a small percentage is probably Web3 savvy. The others probably don't care. So there's a few unique attributes that NFTs give users, and some may care for it, some others don't. NFTs are typically, compared to our regular digital items, they're slightly higher priced as well. There's different renderings that you get within the metaverse when you have the NFT. You basically become like a walking store where you can show off all the NFT collections that you have. That may not be important for everyone. So I think that market will exist for a long time. 10, 20 years from now, maybe everything ends up being an NFT. I think blockchain technology itself is catching up. We've actually launched NFTs on this layer 2 of Ethereum called as Immutable X, where we are able to provide pretty much gasless transactions. You might have seen last year where people are buying this NFT for $100 and they had to pay $1,000 in gas on Ethereum. So there's still some challenges there with blockchain technology. It's slow, it's expensive sometimes to do transactions, but there's a lot of promising technologies, a lot of Ethereum layer 2s, other layer 1s that are going to be super fast and super cheap, which are going to change that. So that's still a ways out. So I don't think most blockchains today can support like a gaming use case or virtual world use case where you could have tens of thousands of transactions in a minute. I think that's going to change within 5 to 10 years. On our marketplace, we support basically gas-free trading, but I think it's going to take that some more time to change that. Ideally, I would like everything to be NFT so that users have the power to take it wherever, to resell the items. But I think it's a ways away. And in the near term, at least, both of these will exist together. There'll be the regular non-NFT digital collectibles that some people will just buy and hold, and they're happy with them, whereas some of the others will want NFTs. Likewise, for the creators, there'll be some creators who mainly focus on creating NFTs, these very high value items, and these items that look really cool. And then there'll be some others which focus on the regular digital items.
And then looking, I guess, a bit closer in. So, one of the big trends that people are predicting for 2023 is that we're going to move away from calling them NFTs. Do you think that are you starting to see this? And if so, what kind of alternate language are people using? And do you see one prevailing?
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be one that's going to prevail, to be honest. It depends. NFTs have different categories. So you go to uh, a board like DApp Radar or Crypto Slam, and you'll see all these different categories. There's digital collectibles, there's marketplaces, there's these DeFi protocols where you can get an NFT. There's all these different types of applications for NFTs. And what NFTs are it's just a digital record of your transaction, right? So it's no different than you buy a vehicle and you have to register at the DMV, or a home which gets recorded at a county office. That's just the title of who owns what and who has a lien or whatever else is associated with it. But it's all the applications of that. So the metaverse is obviously one application of that. It's a within the metaverse, it's a digital collectible. There's other applications at these hackathons and all these crypto community festivals. I've met these other entrepreneurs and founders who are working on such interesting use cases, like recording your home deed on the blockchain, all kinds of stuff, rentable NFTs. So I think it's still so early. It feels like we're back in the internet in the 90s, where you had dial-up internet and people are working on all these things. No one will ever imagine that 20 years from now people are going to be streaming videos on YouTube or Netflix. I think the entire space is going to evolve and it's going to become seamless. So you'll have all these applications where you won't even know there's NFTs in the back end. You wouldn't know that it's being recorded on chain until you want to, right? If you want to verify, anyone can go then verify it. But until then, you'd never know. And what people would actually see is, hey, my car deed was, I sold my car and it was recorded. And I didn't have to go to the DMV and wait for paperwork for 6 months to get a new title and stuff like that. It's all going to happen seamlessly in the back end. And whenever someone needs to verify, they could go on the blockchain and verify it. So I think the technology is going to have less of a focus on, hey, what do we call this technology and things like that. It's all going to be about, hey, this is a real world use case that NFTs have enabled. They've made it so easy to sell my art, or there's these new things called as fan tokens, where a celebrity, a small time celebrity or musician can directly reach out to their fan base. They can have their own token. They can connect with them. They can mint these NFTs where you get so much, you have 30 minutes a quarter or something like that to talk to the musician or the creator directly. And that gives you all these in real life benefits, like you can go to their concerts and things like that. So all of that is recorded on the blockchain, but I think the real world application is going to take off, and you'll have all these other terms come out of there. You'll have fan tokens or metaverse collectibles, all of these other things. And unless you scratch the surface and try to figure out what the tech behind it, you'd never realize that it's an NFT and it's trading on a blockchain.
I'm really happy to hear that, because I think one of the big challenges we face when it comes to blockchain and Web3 is introducing it to the masses is this kind of language barrier. And it is complex. And when we can just have something where when that starts to fall to the background, and we don't have to kind of tell people just to trust us that this is legit and it works, I think that's going to be a huge advantage for the whole industry. So I think we've been talking a lot about VCOIN, but I also wanted to ask you about VCORE. And these are two different coins,
Right.
tokens. If you can maybe talk to us a little bit about the different use cases for them, and also where one would purchase each of these, that would be great.
Absolutely. So the way I differentiate both is VCoin is kind of like a stable coin. So it's always stable in value. For $1, you have 250 VCoin in there. It's never going to change. It doesn't trade on exchanges. You can buy VCoin on any of our metaverses, InView, or anything that Together Labs runs. So you purchase directly for VCoin directly from InView. And then you have the option of cashing out. So we have this partnership with this company called as Uphold, where you can take your VCoin and convert it into fiat. You can convert it into cash. VCoin is always going to be stable in value. VCORE is going to get launched next year. That is going to be an exchange traded token. We are only selling it to international investors. So anyone outside the US and Canada, it's going to be listed on international exchanges. We're going to have a launch pad where international investors will be able to purchase that. So VCORE is meant only for international users. It's more like a metaverse coin, something like a mana for Decentraland or Sand token for Sandbox. So it has certain rights which you will never have with Bitcoin. It'll have some governance rights where holders of the tokens can vote on governance initiatives, vote on the future of the metaverses we are building on. So it's going to have some of those unique abilities. It's going to be not necessarily linked to the company. The path is that it's going to eventually be held by the ecosystem, and that ecosystem is going to drive the future of the community and where they want to take the metaverses that we're building. So VCORE is also because it's going to be listed on exchanges. The market forces are going to control the price of VCORE. It's going to be no different than Sandbox or ApeCoin or any of these other coins where the market dictates what it's going to price at. It's still going to be integrated with Imu's NFT marketplace. So you'll have the ability, if you're international, you'll purchase on exchange, you could bring it into our ecosystem and then trade NFTs on there, buy or sell NFTs. We also may working on some of these other technologies will make that integration seamless. So within the Imu app, you can essentially open the pop-up and purchase VCORE, use it on platform, and then cash out whenever you want to. So the biggest difference I would say is VCoin is just like a stable coin. It's no different than like a USDC. VCORE is this crypto asset, which is very similar to any of the other decentralized crypto tokens like Sandbox, ApeCoin. And then the use case for that, again, is more around governance. And the future there is that the community holds it and they decide where they want to take the metaverse.
Cool. Thank you for explaining that. So I want to kind of zoom out and look at the bigger picture for a minute. It seems to me that what we are really starting to talk about are some very disruptive financial models, ones that could potentially empower anyone to become an entrepreneur. It could potentially promote equity between people. It could also mean a redistribution of wealth, which could also disrupt the future of the job market. So wondering what your thoughts are on this. Will Gen Z and Gen Alpha, just be selling NFTs and not wanting to get involved in the workforce in the future? What are your thoughts?